I guess I want to speak for a moment about Trump. Was it all fraud, or was there an overarching message? And this is important. I got a good friend of mine. He is socially conservative on a lot of things. We work together driving trucks, and I view him closer than a brother. Dude has helped me out many times. Um, my family would not or could not. He thinks that a lot of the stuff Trump did was, kind of like a pedophile. It was testing. Like you touch somebody. Oh, I'm just playing. Like a dude engaged in sexual harassment. Oh, touch a girl on the leg. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. He's feeling things out, and he thinks a lot of things Trump didn't work. Trump recognized it and he backed off. I understand that point. I disagree. I think Trump was a fraudster from the very beginning. I remember there was he's picking district attorneys at U.S. District attorneys, and there was an Indian guy. I don't remember his name, who was known for going after people who were very white collar crime, and Trump was going to pick him, and I think Bannon or somebody told him he's going to come after you, and Trump dropped him. And that's what for me kind of started the notion that Trump is not an ethical guy. I've talked about it before. There's many things Obama did I disagree with then and now. Many things he did, and we can talk about that. But I never morally questioned President Obama then or now. There was never a moment where, as a man, I morally questioned his being and his character. With Trump, it was the everyday thing. With Trump, it was the everyday thing. And I think he's a person that embraces cruelty and harm. I don't think Trump was testing things. Hell, I don't think Trump expected to be president. I get the feeling that presidency was another one of the things on his bucket list. And I think that Hillary Clinton was an example of this neoliberal part, the Democratic Party, that's totally out of touch with reality in most people. And I think that Trump recognized that America had moved left on war. I think he won that way, and it was some of the BS on Benghazi and stuff, and they ran with that. You realize she sat through 11 hours of hearings, answered all the questions, and look at all the people around Trump who don't want to cooperate with investigations. You don't hear that. You don't hear any of that. And it's crazy because growing up, conservatives weren't like that. When I was a kid, conservatism was about, not being afraid to stand up, not being afraid. Conservatism was about, like, we filed a law. We have insurance in our car. We're legit, so we're not afraid of the police pulling us over one night because we know we're righteous. And I think the Trump politics was something different. This is the age of the paramilitary militia guy. This is the Timothy McVeigh party. I'm going to start calling it that. The Trump party is really the Timothy McVeigh party. It isn't the party of Seventh Heaven. It isn't the party of you pay your taxes and you go to church. It's the party of, screaming about Jesus because you think it's going to make gay people feel bad. That's what they are. You're praying, but it's more of, even the Proud Boys, all that stuff. They were praying like curses almost. If you watch them protest they had, they were like cursing the gay people and cursing people, and that's not the God I believe in. I don't believe in that, praying to curse people I don't like who aren't doing anything to me. No. I think Trump was a fraudster from the very beginning, and I may do more videos on it. I think that Trump, I think he tried a lot of stuff. And yeah, like my friend says, I think a lot of stuff he tried, he knew couldn't happen. The wall was never going to happen. For one thing, guys, there's a lot of Americans that live in Mexico. There's a lot of, so what happens to their properties? That was never going to happen. But I think that when you get in office like Trump, and you're living in a world of people who have issues you don't understand. And from listening to little just snippets of the inside of his cabinet and talks, he was a man that he is a man. He was a president that was deeply out of touch with the lives of most Americans, just deeply out of touch. And I think that, his only stick was to play to the bumpkins, was to play to the ignoramuses, to play to the people who were deeply ignorant but who voted for him. And I think he knew, as I said, a lot of that stuff couldn't happen. But when you're in that position as Trump was, you're not creating a better world. You're always playing to people who don't like this type of society, as flawed as it is, as flawed as the American society is, and it has many flaws, many. They don't like the world we're living in. I mean, I was watching a city council where guys started when they start hanging up gay people and quoting the Bible in the city council meeting. Very bizarre. Those kind of people that have no real solutions, like he has no solutions other than hatred and cruelty for a world that has moved on without them, and a world that they don't understand, and a world that the rest of the world doesn't really respect them. I think still something. I think that he played to people, knowing he couldn't do things, but he could at least, like, we tried, gum up the works. He had a war with the EPA because Trump really, his politics, like most conservative politics today, they're at war with reality. He was at war with reality. For the left, we're at war with climate change. We're at war with inequality. We're at war with many different issues that affect a lot of people, hurt a lot of people, and will hurt people in the future. Trump's at war with energy-saving toilets and dishwashers, and I mean that was his issue. People say, like, what's the big deal about it? When you're a president, you only have so much time and energy to do things. And when you do speeches like that, you are signaling to the world the direction you are steering the country. That's important to understand. And if you're a president and you're not spending time steering the world, I've got to ask, what the hell are you doing up there? If I'm wrong, what the hell are you doing up there? You're not making the world a better place. I don't think that it was this deep conspiracy. Now, I think people around Trump, Stephen Miller and others, that would have loved to do more things, but I don't think Trump was that intelligent. I don't think he's that intelligent. I think he tried certain things with the military, and I think he realized that, so much of what he wanted, the country moved on beyond those things. Like, even conservatives, the Overton window has kind of opened a little bit further than Trump. His time was probably the 80s or the 90s, and it's moved on. So Trump was just about fraud. And it was all about a war with facts, fake news, war with the EPA. You couldn't say climate change. He altered a weather map for a tornado that was coming in, lying, saying it was going into Alabama when it wasn't. That could have got people killed. Yes, that could have people killed. So we have to understand the idea of mass panic in these days and times. That's dangerous. And it was a crime. So Trump's whole thing from day one was just a war with facts. A war with facts that are inconvenient to the world that I want to perpetuate, which is a world of, you're being targeted, white man. There's a war against you and your children. There's a war. They're teaching your children critical race theory and all this BS that was just lies. And what's worse, so many of his lies were easily provable. And that shows you he acted in bad faith. That's the point I make with Trump more than anything. He was a bad faith actor. I don't think there was, I don't believe at any time for Trump there was a long range, like, ideology, like a Nixon type thing. I think it was all a big fraud. And that's why when I saw his wife trying to sell her dress that she wore when they when the president, the French president, came to the White House. I knew what that was. It's a hustle, baby. I was the president's wife. I want to get paid. I'm a trophy wife. It's it was all a fraud. That's what it was. I get it. It's a hustle. And I think that you're going to see more of that. And I don't think there was a long-term plan. I think Trump got elected by accident. Well, not accident. He didn't see it coming. And once he got in office, what do? You cling to the people that your core people, and you constantly push stuff they care about, and the rest of the country clearly doesn't. And till you get to the point you have Charlottesville, to the point to where you have the mass shootings you had, to the point to where you had Parkland, to the point to where you have January the 6th. I don't think that the Trump administration was by anything but abject fraud and cruelty. Point blank, period. I don't think that Trump had an overarching plan. I don't think there was a conspiracy. I think he didn't care about people he got hurt. I don't think he cared about people that worked for him. I don't think he cared about the police or the military that serve underneath him. I think that was all virtue signaling to the right to make them feel good about hurting people that were inconvenient to him. You fill in the blanks. I think that Trump was just nothing special about him. This is what you get when you have a society that's uneducated. You have a guy that's able to go in there and tell abject lies to make folks feel good. Look, what happened to them carrier plans? Look that up. What happened to them jobs supposed to have saved? So I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the, as my grandma said, the proof is in the pudding. So to me, there was no conspiracy. It was all about fraud. And I think that people make a big deal of January the 6th, but he was lying and making up facts from day one. This wasn't the first time. This wasn't the first time he just told abject lies about big issues. This is just one that led to loss of life and a lot of damage to the Capitol. I just like I said, my friend thinks it's this big conspiracy, and he was like a pedophile. He was trying stuff, and once it didn't work, he moved on. I don't think so. No, I don't think. I think it was a fraud. I think Trump was a con man. Has always been a damn con man, and I think that he surrounded himself with people who maybe wanted to go further but couldn't for whatever reason. And I think that thankfully. Mark Milley, other people, conscientious members of our government, they stepped forward. That's why you read the Bible. That's why you press. Why you read all that Latin and Shakespeare. You don't just read that stuff to impress girls. You read it so when you're tested with the trials of integrity, that you stand up and you do the right thing. And no matter who's watching or if nobody's watching, you do the right thing, and the whole world's waiting for someone just like you, just like me, to stand up, do the right thing. The test of integrity is hard, but I think that's what defines your character. So it defines your character. Thank you for listening.